my name is Anuj Patel, and today I'm going to represent my project, which is Researchers Exchange Participation for the course Software Architecture and Design. So, the main idea behind this project is that I've been to some of the researches in SNU, which was conducted by professor, and like they were giving me a $10 for per participation and all, and I thought that this is a kind of bad thing that if someone wants to research on something, then he or she has to pay for that. So I got an idea that what if like we get researchers who can participate in each of the study, and then when I thought of this project. So let's begin. Main idea behind the website is to help any researcher who will need participation with the topic of research. So rather than investing money in any of the research, you can have the win-win situation. Like if one researcher wants to research on something, then another can participate in the study, and then vice versa. So the way it works is if one researcher is posting his or her topic on the website, then he or she will need participation for the study. And the only way they can get the participation is through participating in any other researcher's topic. So when a researcher participates in any study, they get some kind of reward, like coin or something, which is one coin equal to one participation. So after that, if you have enough coins, only then you can have your number of participation more. So suppose if you have 20 coins, then you can have 20 participation for your research, which is so it's like win-win situation. If you want your research to be good, then you have to work hard for that. And admin has the authority if someone disapproves a question or reports a question, then admin gets the notification for that, and then admin decides whether he or she wants to approve it or disapprove it. So I have developed this using client server architecture. uh, I have planned to use both like client server and rule based, but I have developed using client server. So let's begin with client server architecture. So the architecture is quite simple. Like there will be n number of researchers who will be using procedure calls to get to centralized server, and then they'll get the reply back from server. So let's go through class diagram. So the way this website is developed is kind of MVC architecture, where you have model, you have view, and then you have controller. Like you have business logic, then you have view, and then the whole model which you get back from that, it is developed in such a way. So let me just demonstrate using annotation. So this part you see here, it is whole data part, which has nothing to do with logic. The part you see here, this is a kind of controller, and the part you see here is the business logic. So I've developed the class diagram so that someone can just distinguish the three-layer architecture. Okay, so this is how the class diagram is for the project. So now mapping with the client server, let's just move to another slide. So here you can see that the main server is controllers, where the other classes like answer, user, reports, and study, they just send the request there, and they get the response back from the server. So suppose if a user is connecting or user is reporting a question, then the report class will tell the controller that I want this. The controller will send the request to server, and then it will get the response back, and it will get back to the report class. The result will be in the report class. So this is how the mapping with the client server architecture works. Now the rule-based architecture. So here you can see that there will be user interface, then again there will be procedure call, there will be interference engine, then it will access the data, and there will we have a knowledge like pool of a knowledge base where it will fetch the data, and then it will get back to the UI, uh, which will be seen by the user. So mapping with the rule-based architecture, here you can see that we have four classes which has uh, user interfaces like answer, user, report, and study. And then we have a knowledge base, which is the databases we have, like report DB, answer DB, user DB, and study DB. So as soon as we get the reply back, it will be shown on the user interface from the knowledge base we have in four of the databases. These are the classes, and it will be calling the different uh, SQL tables to get back the results. So this is how the mapping of the rule base works. So let's go through pros of the client server architecture. So the most important thing is centralization. So in the website, no matter how many researchers are there or admins are there, for all of them there will be same centralized server and they will access resources through it. So there will not be any kind of file transfers and all. There will be just a query response stuff. So it's a, this is something which I wanted for my project. So it's kind of a big pro for me. Another one is scalability. I know that this kind of website, it gets like different patches every month or every 2 months. So even if in the future, if more participation, more researchers will be using the website, then it will not be much more harder to handle. It will be a lot more easier to handle this website. Another pro is a flexibility. So even if you develop a new feature for the website, then uh, it will be much more easier to integrate those stuff. So the flexibility is biggest concern in this kind of website. So it's a kind of iterative website. Another one is security, and this one is the most important. In any of the research topics, security is the most important thing, because if you get the data from the user, you should make sure that this data is handled very, very carefully, and it will be stored in such a secure way so that no one gets to know that this answer was answered by this answer was answered by any of the user, or which user, or what was the name of the user. It should not be declared. So that's why security is the main concern. And another thing is the maintenance of client server architecture is quite easy. So that's why I've chosen this. Now, like disadvantages of client server architecture, like there are few, but according to me, dependability and server traffic are the main. So dependability, if server goes down, then the whole website is down, so you cannot use it. So that is the biggest disadvantage of this. And another one is server traffic. So there is a server which is alone, stand alone, and there will be much more user who will be using it at the same time. So if there are a number of users which are more than we expected, then there will be traffic on the server, which will like slow down your application and website. So it's a kind of disadvantage, but we can handle with that. So that's okay. Now, pros for rule-based architecture. So according to the rule-based, there is a kind of rule which has to be followed. So in this kind of system, the confidence of the system is much more improved rather than any other architecture. So this is one of the advantage. Another one is the structure of the system is uniform uh, throughout the system. Then processing is totally separated from the knowledge base. So the knowledge base is totally different from what we see on the user side. So that's a kind of separation of two different two different things in your whole project. Another one is knowledge representation is natural. So it's a good thing. It can also deal with incomplete and uncertain knowledge. So these are the advantages of rule-based architecture. Now let's go with disadvantages of them. According to me, in rule-based architecture, you have to define before the system is developed. So if this happens, then you can have this. If this happens, then you can have this data. So the system cannot learn it by itself. So this is a kind of biggest, uh, uh, I guess, a disadvantage of the system. Another one is search strategy. So search strategy is very ineffective in rule-based architecture. So this one is another disadvantage of rule-based architecture. Now let's go with rationale for selecting the client-server architecture. So first of all, in any research, security is must. So as I've said that for this, I will any of the research, it should not be disclosed that this answer was answered by this user. So security is a must. So client server architecture provides me this. Another thing is for this project I needed a kind of centralized approach, which is client server. So client server is kind of architecture which provides centralized structure. So this was another one. Third one is there is a possibility that in the future it might get expanded and maybe used by more number of users or more number of researchers. That's where the scalability comes into the picture. So client server also resolves this. Another one is it increases the performance by using query response technique rather than using the file transfer technique, which is a very good performance increasing thing. And the last one is there is a high probability that some other features will be added. Like it's a kind of iterative thing. Any of the new features will be added into the system at any time. So it should be kind of flexible to handle those things. So the the flexibility of the system for integration is very easy. So that is these are the reasons why I've chosen client server architecture. Let's go with the implementation of this. So here you can see that I have just compiled the code and I've ran the Tomcat server, and now you'll see the screenshots of the website. Here's the home page where you can see a tiny little picture, and it's not much fancy, but you can see that about us, how it works, then the username, and you can see the logout button as well. This is the login page. You can have email address and password, and then you can log in with your desired with your given uh, ID and password. And this one is a sign up form where you can provide your name, email address, password, and confirm password. So these are just the screenshots I wanted to show, but I'm going to show you the actual demo for the website. So let's go with the demo. Okay, so let's go for the demo. As you can see here, this is my project and I'm going to run it. Actually, it's already running, but I'm just going to show the compilation. So Tomcat 8 is starting. Okay, so here, yeah, so project has started. So I'm going to run it in Google Chrome now. Okay, so started. So now I'm going to look into the database. Okay, so this is the database. This is the user. So in this database, I have few entries. I have assigned myself as an admin and others as participants. So I'm first going to log in as an admin. So if I enter something wrong, it's going to give me error that please include something because I haven't included that. Now if I do log in, it's going to say it's wrong. Okay, so now I'm going to enter the correct credentials. If I press on admin, it is going to request a server that if this user exists, then give me the response back. So it is a kind of client server architecture. So in here you can see the reported questions by someone who thinks that this question is not appropriate. I can approve or disapprove it. Now I'm just going to log out from this account and I'm going to log in as a user, just a simple user. So I have assigned Dr. Huang as a user and I'm going to log in. Okay, so here I can see that coins, participants, and participation, all of the three values are 0. Now if I want to participate, then I can participate. These are these two studies which are there right now in the system. I can participate in any of them. So if I participate and I answer this question, if I press submit, then you can see that the coins and the participation value is 1. So now if I want my study, if I want more participation in my study, then I can have at least 1 because I have 1 coin. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another study. Let's say it's SAD. Just random stuff. You can also give an image. You can also have participants. Now right now it's going to be 1 because we have 1 coin, and answer can be anything, 1, 2, 3, depending on your question. You can also give the description to that and press and submit. It is going to enter a new study into the system. And now if I log out and log in as a different user, which I have in the system, which is going to be Adam. So for now, if I see that coins, participants, and participation, all of the values are 0, and if I want to participate, I'm going to see the new study which I have already entered, and I can participate and I can answer the question for that. And then if I see that submitted, I'm going to get 1 coin, which is equal to 1 participation. So this is how this thing was. So all of the requests, like participation, enter the new study, enter the new question, this all of these questions and logins and all this stuff goes to centralized server, and I get the response back from the server. So this is a kind of client server architecture which I was talking about, and all of these responses are saved in the database, which is fully secured. So this is how it works. Okay, I'm going to log out. Okay. Okay then. Thank you so much for that.